a freedman named Denmark Vesey began to organize the most extensive slave revolt ever planned in the United States, which was to take place among the enslaved Africans on the plantations in Charleston, South Carolina. By 1822, he and his fellow leaders had gained widespread support in the region. However, the rebels were betrayed from within by a traitor.
Every fucking time. Oh, you say history repeats itself. It's a William O'Neill
who knew all their plans, and Vesey and his lieutenants were also hanged. I have no doubt that if Denmark Vesey was successful and had not been betrayed by his own, at the very least, American society for a moment would have come to a complete stop, and at its best, his success would have changed the course of world history.
Well, damn. My only question is, what did they use to make whoever the infiltrator was betray them, right? Or maybe it was one of those things where it's like, that nigga was never really with y'all in the first place. Like, I'm going along with this, but as soon as I see it out, I'm for self going to get y'all cooked. Now, normally what happens, or from what I've seen, that nigga that be betraying niggas gets cooked too. It's like, brother, you should just stay with the plan. I don't know why you wanted to go against the grain in this situation, but you lost the plot.
I don't really think nobody fucking with me anyway, you know what I'm saying? 24 fucking hundred. I come from that fucking block. I been out that Johnny up and up that cutter. If we cannot get.
Welcome back. We're back with another reaction video. Today we're reacting to a home team history video. History of slave rebellions. This might be graphic content warning, I guess. But let's lock in and learn some history. Good, bad, or indifferent.
This is a sensitive topic in general because slavery was the dark ages for people of African descent, but it's an important topic, one that needs to be had, especially when we're constantly bombarded with movies that don't really tell the whole story in its proper context, often inserting other narratives or values. Today, I thought I'd illuminate our ancestors who stood up against tyranny and oppression, the ancestors who said, "We've had enough." What up, African world? It's Home Team here, and welcome back to another video of African history, culture, and worldview. By supporting this channel on Patreon, you're helping in the creation of these videos and supporting this content. If you'd like access to full courses and sources, or you simply want to show your support, you may do so by clicking the Patreon link in the description box below. To begin, it's important to note that the slave rebellions I'll be talking about today are just the more popular ones. There were countless others that will not be mentioned in this video for the sake of time, and because many of the other ones were just poorly recorded for obvious reasons.
I mean, normally, the victors write the history, so
let's begin. Contrary to popular belief, our ancestors never just laid down and accepted enslavement. Throughout the long history of slavery, people of African descent fought against it every step of the way. The ways in which they fought and resisted was diverse. Some ran to the mountains and founded sovereign regions, some took up arms or any weapon they could find or make, and some even decided to take their own life.
I probably would have chose the third option, but hey, who am I to speak?
Like in the case of Igbo Landing, where a group of captive Igbo people chose to drown themselves in a creek rather than to submit to.
Well, I might be Igbo. This nigga tripping. I'm just saying, oh, bro, I'm not about to go for this. Oh, I see what y'all on. Man, go ahead and take me out the game, bro. I'm coming home.
Slavery. Now, as unsettling as that may sound, they represented a core value in the consciousness of many Afro-descended people, and their form of resistance was immortalized in African-American folklore. If you watch films about slavery in popular culture, you might get the impression that slavery was pretty straightforward, and slaveholders were in total comfort as their enslaved Africans worked the fields. However, the historical record proves otherwise. Letters and diaries from the American South in the 1800s indicate that slaveholders lived in constant fear of rebellion, and the Haitian Revolution pretty much gave them a heart attack.
Rightfully so. Yeah. Y'all should live in fear. Y'all are oppressing people, controlling people, or attempting to, indoctrinating people, schmagingling people. What are we talking about?
To repress and control slave rebellion, especially in those places such as South Carolina and the Caribbean islands, where persons in slavery outnumbered the free sometimes 10 to 1, Africans were forbidden to meet in groups or to learn to read, and they lived under the constant scrutiny of their overseers. Families were often separated, further increasing their isolation from one another and from white society. Despite all these precautions, however, slave rebellions were just inevitable. In 1800, an African named Gabriel Prosser led the first large-scale revolt of enslaved Africans in the United States.
Okay, Gabriel, Goat. Tough name, too. Probably not his original name. Yeah. But
His plan was to create an independent black state in Virginia, with himself as its head. His plan was to march on Richmond, Virginia at the head of an army of 1,000 followers failed because heavy rain.
brother, 1,000 followers. I don't think that's enough, but might be able to take over a few towns.
Washed out the bridges and flooded the roads that led to the arsenal and powder house.
Damn.
The state militia captured Prosser and 34 of his followers before they could regroup their forces, and all were hanged. In 1811, nearly 500 Africans on a plantation near New Orleans, Louisiana, took up weapons with the intent of marching on New Orleans and freeing all the Africans there. They killed an unrecorded number of people and burned a number of plantations along the way until they were stopped by government troops 10 miles from the city. In 1821, a freedman named Denmark Vesey began to organize the most extensive slave revolt ever planned in the United States, which was to take place among the enslaved Africans on the plantations in Charleston, South Carolina. By 1822, he and his fellow leaders had gained widespread support in the region. However, the rebels were betrayed from within by a traitor.
Every fucking time. Oh, you say history repeats itself. It's a William O'Neill.
Who knew all their plans, and Vesey and his lieutenants were also hanged. I have no doubt that if Denmark Vesey was successful and had not been betrayed by his own, at the very least, American society for a moment would have come to a complete stop, and at its best, his success would have changed the course of world history.
Well, damn. My only question is, what did they use to make whoever the infiltrator was betray them, right? Or maybe it was one of those things where it's like, that nigga was never really with y'all in the first place. Like, I'm going along with this, but as soon as I see it out, I'm for self going to get y'all cooked. Now, normally what happens, or from what I've seen, that nigga that be betraying niggas gets cooked too. It's like, brother, you should just stay with the plan. I don't know why you wanted to go against the grain in this situation, but you lost the plot.
Just imagine a formerly enslaved man defeating an American militia and creating an independent state in the American South.
Maybe he hated him because Denmark became a free man.
That would have been something. In 1831, Nat Turner led 75 followers in what was...
Yeah, this the one that that's like the more known one. That's what I actually learned about in American history. And they ain't never tell me about Denmark.
Become the only rebellion by Africans in the United States history that did not quickly die out. It took place near Jerusalem, Virginia. 60 whites were killed, including Turner's master and his family. Hundreds of whites fled, and many left the state for good. Turner was captured and hanged, but slaveholders became keenly aware of the anger and resentment Africans had in bondage. Unrest among Africans was not restricted to the southern states, however. An insurrection in New York City in 1712 led to the murder of 9 whites and the execution of 17 enslaved Africans. In 1741, again in New York City, where one of the 5 inhabitants was an African bondage, a number of conspiracy trials were held as a result of a series of incidents of arson and burglary that led many to believe that an African revolt was imminent. The supposed revolt's leader, called Caesar, and 5 other Africans were hanged. Some historians have compared these trials to the Salem witchcraft trials of 1692. Now, as you can see, all of the rebellions took place pretty close in date to one another, hence the reason why so many slaveholders were always paranoid. Given the history of all these rebellions, and these are just the more popular ones, we quickly realized that slavery...
That's crazy, with like no forms of communication. Like there's no way we could connect to each other. Fucking 1600s. Yet all of the rebellions are popping off damn near simultaneously. One after
was
another.
just not sustainable. It would have eventually come to a screeching halt, probably through violence. And all it takes is just one victory to change the course of history. And it was the Haitians who taught us this. Undoubtedly, the greatest and most glorious slave rebellion in human history was the Haitian Revolution that began in 1791. Sometimes we forget that throughout human history, slaves have existed in all corners of the planet from various groups of people. To really understand the greatness of the Haitian Revolution, it must be put in the context of other slave rebellions across the globe. The Haitian Revolution is so special because it was the only successful slave rebellion that led to the formation of a state. No other people on the planet had accomplished this. In other words, Spartacus and his men couldn't accomplish what rebellion.
I don't like how they depicting it. Yeah. I mean, they winning, but like, look at the faces they making. Now, granted, they might have been feeling like, we finally got them. Sure. I think it was scary as fuck. Especially the bugged out eyes. Like,
that led to the formation of a state. No other people on the planet had accomplished this. In other words, Spartacus and his men couldn't accomplish what the Haitians could. Africans in Haiti grossly outnumbered the white slaveholders. An estimated 500,000 Africans worked on the sugar, coffee, indigo, and other plantations in the colony. The slave system in Haiti had the reputation of being the cruelest in the Western Hemisphere. Africans who refused to submit in other colonies were threatened with being sent there. The grotesque white supremacist determination to rob Africans of their humanity led French plantation owners in Haiti to work their enslaved Africans to death, preferring to replace them rather than to improve their living and working conditions as they had done more often.
What you gonna do? Get more? Wait for them to, I'm about to say gestate, basically have kids and then do that to them, their kids, but they're not gonna... Treating the slaves as less than human when you own them and are making profit off of them, it just sounds counterproductive to me. I'm sorry. The fuck? It's dumb. Dumb to enslave people too, but
in Brazil and in many parts of the Caribbean and North America. Dutty Boukman began the revolution in 1791. Leadership of the revolt in Haiti was soon assumed by the charismatic Toussaint Louverture, and the first leader of an independent black nation in the Americas was Jean Dessalines. Under Dessalines, Haiti became the first country in the Americas to permanently abolish slavery. Initially a governor-general, Dessalines was later named Emperor of Haiti by the generals of the Haitian Revolution. The Haitians fought and defeated the French and won their independence. This was no doubt one of the most impressive feats in human history because it had never been done before.
Like, why did they make him look like this and the other niggas look like this? There's no way. Whatever, dog. Let it go. I don't know who drew this. If it was a black male that drew the shit, white person. I'm telling you, dog.
Most slave rebellions in other parts of the Caribbean were short-lived, even if they found success. The more prominent ones occurred in Brazil, in St. Kitts and Nevis, Jamaica, Suriname, Montserrat, Belize, and Guyana. What's even more impressive, in my opinion, is the often neglected portion of rebellions on slave ships. Many Africans didn't even wait to be exported to their destination. They rebelled on the ship itself, which, in all honesty, may be the best place to start. Two famous revolts occurred at sea after the 19th century began. the revolt aboard the Amistad on a voyage from West Africa to Cuba in 1831,
I seen that
and the
movie.
revolt on board the American brig Creole on a voyage from Richmond and Hampton Roads in Virginia to New Orleans in 1841. Those held responsible for the revolt aboard the Amistad were defended in court by former President John Quincy Adams. In a judgment that surprised many people of the time, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the 53 Africans aboard the Amistad who overwhelmed the crew and brought their vessel into American waters for protection were justified in their actions. With the help of missionary and abolitionist groups, the mutineers returned home to Sierra Leone in 1842.
So that movie wasn't inaccurate. I couldn't tell that was John Quincy Adams though. Did they say his name in the film? Whatever. Anyway.
However, the Africans aboard the Creole weren't so fortunate, as their revolt was put down and they were returned to slaveholders.
Damn it.
So what's the point of all this? Well, I think it's important to know this history because popular culture is not going to edify you. They're going to tell the story that suits their needs and concerns. And so we miss out on just how common slave rebellion was and how our ancestors resisted every step of the way. We cannot forget that it was our ancestors who truly advanced the flames of freedom and liberty, holding the entire world accountable. Well, I'm all out, guys. If you like these videos and want to help in its continued production,
Yeah, I keep watching these. This is making me want to make I'm telling you, Black revolutionary anime. Anyway, that was a great video. Like, I might really just start consuming more. You know what I'm saying, history in general, but especially Black history, because you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going. That's the end of the video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share the video, share your thoughts on the video. Section below. Hit the notification bell so you can stay up to date when I drop videos on this channel. I'll catch you in the next.
Baby, slide by to my